I'm very proud to have David Makhura as my Premier. I think he has instilled in pessimists like me a degree of confidence and hope that things can be better. And I am glad that I live in a province that is called Gauteng under your leadership, sir. We call on you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Shan, our Program Director, for this important occasion. Comrade Pravin Gordon, who is a member of the National Executive Committee, and the Minister for Finance, Comrade Ismail Badi, the members of the family of Comrade Shirish Nanabai Kamil, and the rest of the family, the stalwarts and the veterans of our movement who are gathered here, members of the Katrada Foundation, the religious and community leaders, fellow comrades and friends. As Shan correctly said, I speak here today on behalf of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in Gauteng Province, not on behalf of government. Not so long we gathered here and at the City Hall in Johannesburg to bury firstly Comrade Reggie Vandia. Here in Lens, we also gathered to bury Comrade Indres Naidu. And we know that the three comrades all belonged to a special generation of freedom fighters, MK fighters. They belonged also, they carried MK operations together, they shared trenches. They went to Robben Island, they came back and continued to fight for a free country together with comrades like Comrade Isu Chiba, who is with us today, and many veterans of our struggle who are here. One thing I will miss is the presence in every ANC activity, and I'll say also in this province, in government activities, of Comrade Shirish. And I was asking, how did he get every activity we organized? He will always be there. And there is an incident I want to relate today, that there's one time I mixed him with Comrade Reggie Vandia, and he never forgot that. Every time I met him over the many years, he will say, Comrade David, here is Comrade Reggie. And when we buried Comrade Reggie, he said, now I know that you can't call me Comrade Reggie again. So you are now forced to call me Shirish. So we gather here today to bid farewell to him. We take the opportunity to convey our deepest gratitude to the family for having shared with our nation, our movement, our people, your father. He sacrificed everything, and including time with family, to make a difference in the lives of the many. We are truly grateful that in our country, in South Africa, we have had men and women of his caliber. He was a principled patriot and a courageous fighter. He was a selfless servant of the people. Comrade Shirish is worthy of our nation's highest honors, the Order of Mendi for bravery and courage. He inspired and worked alongside many in my generation and the younger generation, as we've just listened. He was very easygoing. I remember at Comrade Reggie's funeral, where he spoke, and he said, you know, I'm not a public speaker, but today I'm forced to speak. He was very humble. He never thought of himself as anything other than a servant of the people. He was a simple man, driven by values of making a difference and changing this country into a better country. Death has robbed us of a true veteran of our struggle who led from the front, who was fearless, who was principled and passionate to the end. As we mourn his passing, we must summon his courage, his principles, his passion to think about how we move our country forward, how we move our country to the next level. There is no doubt that we face what is no less than a crisis in all aspects, economic and political crisis. On this occasion, those of us who belong to the ANC must ask the question, what is it that we need to do to move our country forward? For there is no value in denialism, and there is no heroism in digging our heads into the sand. We've got to confront all these challenges. For Comrade Shirish and his generation taught us that the ANC does not exist for itself. They taught us that revolution is about the people. They taught us that the struggle is about the people. The ANC is simply a vehicle and an instrument to carry out that struggle. The ANC is not an end itself, and the ANC is not a struggle. We have to commit ourselves as we gather here today that we must do everything to ensure that when the ANC speaks, it speaks for the people and not for itself. We've got to do everything in our power to ensure that the ANC does not lose touch with what South Africans feel. For if the ANC does that, it will cease to be the ANC. I am not one of those people who think that you can have the ANC this side and the people on the other side. When you have the ANC that side and the people on the other side, it has ceased to be the ANC. We will have to do everything to ensure that the ANC continues to respond overwhelmingly to the quest for a just society, a more equal society. We have to do everything in our power in honor of the courage, fortitude, foresight, and passion of the life of Comrade Shirish to stand for the truth. Many of us know that in history, when the ANC was having meetings, we knew that the ANC will take the right decisions. Many of us know that in history, when the ANC was going to consider what next to do, we knew that the ANC will act in the best interest of the people and the country. The question we should ask ourselves, Comrade PG, is whether we can still say that today. And if we have any shadow of doubt, there is a fundamental problem we must fix. If we doubt if the ANC can take decisions in the best interest of the country and the people and not just itself, if we doubt, it means we have a lot of work to do. We have to summon the courage of Comrade Shirish today as we lay him to rest, to ensure that the ANC remains the voice of the people of our country. When the ANC speaks, it should make sense. Sometimes we don't make sense when we speak at the ANC. Now, sometimes when we speak, it's difficult to understand what is the ANC saying. We will need no less than courage to tackle all the challenges that we face today. The ANC has taught us, and that early generation of freedom fighters have taught us, that our nation comes first. The first generation of MK fighters, loyalty to our nation and loyalty to the people, is more than loyalty just to the ANC itself. We have a beautiful constitution, but we still have major problems that we live in a country where the reality of our constitution is not felt in the streets of Lenasia across the board. It's only certain sections of our society who are better off, who enjoy the reality espoused in our constitution. So we've got a lot of work to do. And I want to conclude that many of us believe that to get South Africa going, to get South Africa on the right course, we must reclaim the ANC as the vehicle and the voice of the people of South Africa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.